So I wanted to talk a little bit about skating on your own and skating with friends, the differences between the two, and sort of my experience with that, and how I went from skating with a big group of friends when I first began to then skating with one or two friends, or even just on my own. So I wanted to sort of share my experience with that and go through a little bit of a timeline. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So I started skating when I was about 11 years old, close to 20 years ago now. So the first group of skateboarders or friends that I had, so we all met through school, and then going into high school, I guess the group got a little bit bigger, and we were like a pretty solid group, you know. We would skate every day after school, play Xbox together, you know, just kids or whatever. We actually labelled ourselves W on W, which meant weirdos on wheels, which is funny. But we made skate videos together. We had a YouTube channel and like a website and things like that. And that was a really fun time. That lasted maybe like 4-5 years possibly. Once we all hit 15-16, a few of the skaters actually sort of started to drop off from skating, probably because of, you know, starting to drink, smoke weed, getting girlfriends, things like that. So a few of the skaters sort of lost interest and moved away from skateboarding. The group got a lot smaller. It ended up pretty much just being me and my best friend Gerald, who I still skate with today, sort of sticking skating. Everyone else sort of moved on once high school finished. After that, I started skating at a local skate park. I sort of just became involved with another group of skaters that were older than me. I was 16, 17. They were all maybe 17, 18, 19, a few of them older than me, some of them maybe the same age. I then sort of got involved with that group, and this was a really fun time. There's a guy there who used to film videos and make videos of us all skating. We'd travel up and down the UK to different parks and just like, you know, make fun little videos and things like that. Nothing serious obviously, but just for enjoyment pretty much. And that was a really fun time. That was probably one of my more fond memories of skating, I want to say. So when I turned 19, I went to university. I was still in this group and friends with this group, but I went to university at 19 and moved away from Blackpool. And over the next sort of like 2 or 3 years, I was sort of in and out of that group. I would go back home for a bit. I wasn't skating that much. I'd skate a little bit every now and again. But at this point, I was really interested in becoming a filmmaker, and that's where sort of a lot of it took over for me. I just wasn't that interested in skating as much anymore, or kind of like not pursuing it, but, you know, just like taking it seriously and trying to learn things and progress. So then fast forward a little bit further, when I was 24, 25, I then moved to Los Angeles, but I was offered a film job out there filming documentaries. So I moved to LA, and obviously moving to LA, I was not really involved with that group whatsoever. You know, I didn't really speak to anyone once I moved because I just had my own life I was, you know, getting on with. But what I did do is once I got to LA, I knew that it was going to be good skating. Obviously the weather being great out there, so I took my board and I started getting really into it again. So once I started skating in LA, it was obviously by myself. I didn't have any friends out there. It was very lonely for me actually, but at the same time I found like a lot of peace in doing that, like solitude maybe, I don't know what the word would be, but I really enjoyed it, but also felt the loneliness of it at the same time. I did try and make friends out there. I made like one friend who I would skate with at the park every now and again, but I didn't really have like a set of friends that I'd go and skate with. I do want to say that skating on my own for the first time, and it being in LA, it made me realise that I could actually skate on my own and find enjoyment in it. It had never been something that had bothered me in terms of like anxiety or being worried about skating on my own, but it's something that I probably just didn't really think would be that fun or I'd enjoy, because I used skating at that point as a bit more of like a social thing rather than a progression and just enjoyment, I guess. It was more of hanging out with my mates and being outside. But anyway, I eventually left that job in LA and moved back home to Blackpool, which is funny, from LA to Blackpool. I wanted to do it. It was something that I had finished in LA. I just no longer wanted to be there. I missed England and Blackpool, so I moved back home. But I was very determined to keep up with skating. I didn't want to stop skating daily. I wanted it to be a thing that was in my life, because I knew that it was good for me mentally. It was good exercise, and in LA I just enjoyed it so much that I just thought, I need to keep up with it basically. So anyway, I got home, I spoke to one of my friends to see if he was out skating, and the group that I used to skate with were out filming like some clips for like a video, skating in the streets as well. It wasn't at the skate park, it was skating in the street. So anyway, I went to meet with them, and the group had changed quite a lot. There was a lot of people who weren't there anymore, and there was also new people into the group, younger ones. They were younger than me, like 3-4 years younger, which is obviously absolutely fine and stuff. I knew them anyway, I knew of them. So that was it. I got speaking to them and things, skated them for a little bit. That day, street skating, it was quite a turning point for me, I want to say, because one of the guys was being filmed trying to trick, and he basically couldn't do the trick, so he started screaming, throwing his board, things like that, which was a bit like, I wasn't really into that. I've never really been angry skating, I've never sort of been into that. But anyway, he was throwing his board, screaming. And then I remember this old couple walked in front of the guy when he was trying his trick, and he just screamed at them, and they were like a 78-year-old couple, just walking in the public area, and he just screamed at them. And I remember just thinking, whoa, this is too much for me. Like, I felt embarrassed actually to be sort of like in that group at that time. It just was not cool, Like, I remember like people sort of laughing at it, and I just thought, this is just fucking super mature, and yeah, it's embarrassing. So I remember going home that day and feeling pretty deflated about skating with that group of people. I just realized that I didn't want that sort of energy in my life. I didn't want to be hanging around with people who were going to be screaming because they're taking skating so seriously, and they're going to be shouting at people because they got in the way and whatever else. I just didn't enjoy it. That was not what skating was about for me. I think that being on my own in LA really showed me that skating could be this fun thing for myself that I enjoy. It's a nice thing. I'm not into that whole thrash, skate and destroy sort of mentality, I want to say. It's just not, I'm not into it, But I think, a few years prior, I would have been okay with that. I probably would have thought it's funny, and been okay hanging around with people who were going to be screaming and shouting at people in public on a skateboard, But I think having that time away from Blackpool and being able to travel and live in different places, it really helped me to grow. It really helped me to see what skateboarding was to me and what I enjoyed and what I wanted to take from skateboarding. And that changed for me a lot over the years. And that was sort of the last big group I had skating. After that point, I didn't really skate that much. I didn't actually keep up with skating daily. It wasn't until probably COVID, when that all kicked off, that I got back into skating. And that's where my YouTube started here. And YouTube obviously kept me sort of motivated to skate most days. But yeah, I went from, those sort of groups, and then like a patch of sort of loneliness in LA, to another group again, to then actually choosing to be by myself later on down the line. During COVID, I skated with my best friend Gerald, and it was sort of just me and him, and then our friend Danny started skating again. So there was 3 of us, which most of my videos that I've done in the past are actually us 3 going around to different parks, which was super fun. That was actually one of my, if not best, summer skating, I want to say. It was super fun, those 3. Nobody took it that seriously. Nobody was. It was just for fun. I was making stupid videos, and we were just having fun. And yeah, it was great. And there was also a lot of skating by myself within that time also, which I didn't mind. I didn't mind if it was in a group or by myself. Like, I'd enjoy it either way. And that's sort of how it's been now for quite a few years. The more I think about it now, the more I do agree that skating is very different though on your own to being with a group of friends. Like, skating on my own, I think I really push myself that bit extra. I'll put earphones in, listen to music and skate, and sort of blank everything else out, and I'm going to try the tricks that I'm going to try, especially when I'm filming, and I sort of keep up with that, and I guess it becomes a bit more of like a progression session or whatever for me. But if I'm skating with, Gerald and Danny or whoever I'm skating with, even my partner, it's more of a social thing. I don't listen to music. I'm usually just sort of chatting and having a little bit of a skate, and there's no sort of risk involved in the things I'm trying really. It's just more of a fun session, I want to say. I think both are great. If you have that tight-knit group of friends that you can skate with and you're comfortable around them and you're all just mates skating daily, progressing whatever you're doing, I think that's like one of the best things you can have. I also think it's great though if you do have that one or two friends that you can skate with and you're also, you know, super close and you're sort of on the same page with it. Like, I think that's good. Solo skating for me like can still be quite lonely, but it's also something I do enjoy, and I know that regardless of feeling lonely with it, there's a lot of excitement in it also for me, especially just going to a park I've never been to, just driving there on my own to film a video. Like, I actually really enjoy that more than I think probably most people would, to be honest. I definitely feel for people who sort of don't have anyone to skate with and they're new to skating and the anxiety that comes with that. I can definitely understand that. And it's hard to break into a new group that already exists, because you sort of, unless you're like that super sociable sort of person that can just talk and make friends, that's probably not me. But yeah, I think that's a very difficult situation to be in. I don't really have much advice for that, to be honest, other than just turn up at the skate park and become familiar with people, you know, let people know that you're there often and things, and you're a local, and you probably will just sort of slot in eventually. But yeah, feel free to let me know your experiences with skating on your own and skating with a group. I do think that probably a lot of people my age in the 30s now have a very similar path of having a big group and then eventually downsizing due to various different factors until you're at a point where you're skating in a very small group or on your own. I think it's probably quite common, not just me. But yeah, I think the older you get, the more okay you become with that being how it is. Like I do now, I enjoy it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.